All right, so Quiz 524 study guide. I have also uploaded this study guide to Focus under the resources tab if you want to print it and do some practice on it this evening or anytime before your quiz tomorrow. So it's there if you want it or need it. So problem number 1 is a short answer question. Telling you that Viola drives 170 meters up a hill that makes an angle of 6 degrees with the horizon. It goes into an angle of elevation problem. All right, here's your horizon. Here's going up the hill. We close this thing off to form a right triangle. She's driving up a hill that makes a 6 degree with the horizontal. So this is a 6 degree angle. And she drives 170 meters up the hill. To the nearest tenth, what is the horizontal distance covered? We're looking for this. There's our horizontal distance. So we've got an angle of elevation. We've got adjacent and hypotenuse. Adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So cosine 6 equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Multiply both sides by 170. The 170s on the right cancel. So $169.1 is equal to X. And since the dimension given was in meters, our answer is in meters. All right, problem number 2. We're trying to find an angle measure in a right triangle, and we're still using sine, cosine, tangent, but we're using inverse. Okay, so again, in this problem, you're given the adjacent and hypotenuse. Adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. So we go inverse cosine of the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. So 15 over 21. And then second cosine. And I get 44 to the nearest degree, so 44. Put the food away, please. Problem number 3. We're finding an angle measure again. We have an opposite side and the hypotenuse. SOHCAHTOA. Opposite over hypotenuse. So we're going inverse sine of the opposite side, which is 8, over the hypotenuse, which is 14. We're going to the nearest whole number again, so 34.8 rounds to 35. So that angle measure in there would be 35 degrees. Problem number 4, finding an angle measure again, opposite and adjacent. So tangent equals opposite over adjacent. So inverse tan of the opposite side over the adjacent side to the nearest degree. 59.9, which is 60 degrees. All right, problem number 5. What is the description of angle 2 as it relates to the situation shown? Angle 2 is right here. Now tomorrow you're going to have your quiz will be multiple choice, and I believe that they ask you to describe like multiple angles in this picture. So make sure you can describe every one of them. All right. Start with angle 1 right here. Angle 1 is a horizontal looking down. That's depression. Angle 2 has a horizontal looking up. All right, so that's elevation. Angle 3, same horizontal but looking down. That's depression. Angle 4, it's formed by a horizontal and a line going up. So that's elevation. Angle 5 is formed by a horizontal and a line going down. So depression. And that's it, just 5 angles in there. Elevations formed by horizontal and then going up. Depression, horizontal and then going down. All right, in problem number 6, find the value of x to the nearest tenth. Now we're finding a side length. When we're finding side lengths, we don't use inverse sine, cosine, tangent. All right, so we've got a 35-degree angle. We're looking for its opposite side, and we have the hypotenuse. Opposite and hypotenuse is sine, so sine 35 equals the opposite side over the hypotenuse. We can multiply both sides by 15. And 15 times 35 sine equals 8.6. On the right-hand side, the two 15s cancel and the x falls down. So there's our side length to the nearest tenth. All right, problems 7 and 8. In problem number 7, we've got an angle measure. We're looking for adjacent and we have hypotenuse. So adjacent and hypotenuse is cosine. Cosine 44 equals adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 11. Multiply both sides by 11. And 11 times 44 cosine. 7.9 is equal to x. Yes.
Why I keep getting something different.
All right, if you keep getting something different in the calculator, make sure that on your screen above your number, you have the letters D, E, G. I can help you fix your calculator when we finish here, okay? And then you can just, all right, you're good. All right. All right, so problem number 8, we got an angle, we're looking for opposite, we have adjacent, Opposite and adjacent is tangent. So tan 40 equals the opposite side over the adjacent side. We're going to multiply both sides by 11 again. And 11 times 40 tan, 9.2 is equal to x. All right, problem number 9. We've got a horizontal here. We've got a line going down. We've got an angle of depression. We need this hypotenuse. So remember, this angle of depression is congruent to its corresponding angle of elevation. So now, in relation to this 10-degree angle, we have the opposite. We're looking for hypotenuse. Opposite and hypotenuse is sine. So sine of 10 equals opposite side over hypotenuse. Multiply both sides by x. The x's on the right cancel. And then to get the variable by itself, we're going to divide both sides by sine 10. Sine 10's cancel, and our x is equal to 200 divided by 10 sine equals 1151.8. Anybody else get that? Problem number 10. Again, you've got an angle of depression of 30 degrees. Its corresponding angle of elevation is also 30 degrees. We're looking at opposite and adjacent. We're trying to find opposite. We've got adjacent. So tangent equals opposite over adjacent. Tan 30 equals opposite over adjacent. Multiply by 18. (18 times 30 tan). 10.4 is equal to x. All right, these next problems have, with these written descriptions, if you want to just take a picture of it, if you don't think you're going to be able to print the study guide, or if you feel like you need all of this information, feel free to take a picture of it, because then these next 3 problems, you can get a picture of all those at once if you need to, when we get to them. But looking at number 11 here, to approach the runway, a pilot of a small plane begins a 9-degree descent. So this angle of depression is 9 degrees. Here's where the plane is, up here. The plane. 9-degree descent. From a starting height of 1,125 feet above the ground. Here's your 1125, this vertical piece. To the nearest, be careful right here, 1/10 of a mile. To the nearest 1/10 of a mile. How many miles from the runway is the airplane at the start of this approach? Here is the runway. Okay, an extension of this bottom line is the runway. And this line of sight to the runway represents that descent. but the hypotenuse is what we're trying to find. So if we take this 9 and we put it in here, because corresponding angle of depression and angle of elevation are congruent, we're looking at opposite and hypotenuse. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. So sine 9 equals opposite over the hypotenuse. We're going to multiply both sides by the x. X's on the right cancel, and we're going to divide by sine 9. So the sine 9's cancel, and our x is equal to 1125 divided by 9 sine. I get 7191.5. Now, since this dimension, this 1125 was in feet, this 7191.5 is also in feet. So there's 5,280 feet per mile. So if we divide the 7191.5 by 5,280, it'll convert this feet to miles. So the number's still on the calculator. Just divide by 5,280 equals 1.4. So the plane is 1.4 miles from the runway. All right, problem number 12. In triangle ABC, here's triangle ABC. Angle A is 60. Angle B is 55. AB is 73. Find the length of side BC. All right, so this is what you did yesterday. Nearest 10th, nearest 10th, nearest 10th. Okay. So the sine of an angle over its opposite side, sine 60 over x, equals the sine of an angle over its opposite side. So we can't use this 55 because side CA doesn't have a measure. So we need angle C first. All right. So angle C is equal to 180 minus 60 minus 55. Which is 65 degrees. So angle C is 65 degrees. So now we can use sine 65 over its opposite side, which is 73. All right, so crisscross multiply. Sine 65x equals sine 60 times 73. And then we can divide both sides by sine 65. And our x is equal to 60 sine hit equals times 73 hit equals, and then divide it by 65 sine and hit equals. And I get 69.8. And again, you want your calculator in DEG mode. It should say this above your numbers, and you want it set to second fix 1 so that there's only one number to the right of the decimal place. All right, problem 13. Triangle EFG, so we just draw that triangle. Angle E is 20. Angle G is 135. F to G is 18. Find the length of side EF. So we're looking for this. Side EF. So we can go sine 135 over X is equal to sine 20 over 18. And sine 20x is equal to sine 135 times 18. Divide both sides by sine 20. And our x is equal to, again, it's 135 sine equals times 18 equals divided by 20 sine, and hit equals again, 37.2. All right, and problem number 14. Got triangle RST. Angle S is 125. Angle T is 24. Side ST is 6.8. Find the length of RT. So we need R to T, our variable. All right, and again, the X is opposite the 125, but the 6.8 is opposite of angle R that doesn't have a measure. So angle R is equal to the 180 minus 125 minus 24. Which is 31 degrees. So our 31 goes here at angle R. So now our proportion is sine 125 over X equals sine 31 over 6.8. So sine 31 times X is equal to sine 125 times 6.8. Gonna divide each side by sine 31. The sine 31s cancel, our X comes down, and I got 125 sine times 6.8 divided by 31 sine, and I get 10.8. All right, does anybody have any questions from that study guide? All right, so your same Friday routine. You've got electronic assignments. You had 3 of them this week. Those need to get done and submitted. I'll upload this video so you can rewatch the video and work practice problems by pausing between each problem. Or you can work in the ALEKS app. So you have all of those opportunities available today.